YouTube, what's up? It's Nexon back again with another video, and today we're following up last video, which was regarding TSM Bjergsen's retirement. Today we are keeping the topic on TSM, as I think the offseason is a time for people to have fun with rumor mills and roster guessing and all that sort of good stuff. Today we have a few topics to discuss. I think number one, we want to discuss TSM's rumored roster. So as of now, we don't actually know for sure anything other than Double Lift, I believe, will be the AD carry and Spica will be the jungler. So what has been rumored is that the top lane will be either I believe it's Impact or Licorice. And if you haven't been following the Licorice story, essentially multiple teams had bid over $1.5 million for him. I think it was Golden Guardians bid 1.75 and FlyQuest bid 1.5. So huge numbers for an LCS player. And I think, well, for any league in the world, that's quite a lot of money to throw around. But I think in China, that kind of money might be a little more of the average there than it is here in North America. But anyway, so that was the rumor, and it was reported by Jake Wolf, and essentially the two teams that bid the most backed off in the end because of concerns over budget. And I think that Travis Gafford reported that because those two teams are involved with NBA teams, and the NBA and all the other sports leagues, let's be honest, are all suffering from the lack of fans at the stadiums, at the arenas, at the venues. They're not making as much profit as they normally would, but quite honestly, I think it's really lame for them to be complaining complaining, whining about the lack of profit, because for years, sports leagues have made an incredible amount of money. We're talking like the revenue for each league in the billions, and there's revenue sharing. So a lot of teams have massive amounts of income, and not just that comes from the league itself. The teams have their own ways of revenue income, and that mostly includes things like TV contracts and all sorts of media contracts. But anyway, those two teams are involved with NBA organizations. Off the top of my head, I think Golden Guardians, obviously owned by the Golden State Warriors, and FlyQuest is their head of essentially their CEO, I know, is Trisha, but their owner is the son of the Milwaukee Bucks owner, I believe. But yeah, so those two teams are in cahoots with NBA teams, and I think he reported that because the NBA right now is facing a lack of revenue and income, that the orgs may be under a bit of pressure from their NBA owners to sort of budget a little bit more than they might have to, and that's why they pulled out of the Licorice deal. So after that was reported, Licorice was kind of in a limbo. There was no real team stepping up to purchase his contract from C9, buy him out, if you will. And then we heard that because of these two teams failing to commit to the buyout, the price for his buyout went down significantly. So it may be under $1 million now. And that actually leads us to believe that there are now multiple teams that may be able to purchase him, and that includes TSM. So because Licorice is back in the discussion for being the TSM top laner, what we're going to do is assume that it will be Licorice, maybe we'll give it like a 75% likelihood that it's going to be Licorice. And obviously, I'm just throwing out numbers. You take these with a grain of salt. But and then the other 25% would be that if the Licorice deal falls through, then the top laner would be Impact, very likely. So now you have Impact or Licorice in the top lane, and you have Spica in the jungle. And mid lane is just about a done deal, apparently, as reported by Jacob Wolf. Power of Evil will be the person that is replacing and filling those huge shoes that are Bjergsen's. And a little more on this later on in the video, but I really am actually very excited for Power of Evil, and I think it's a very, very good signing. I think all things considered, he's one of the best players that we could have had without completely like breaking the bank. Because let's face it, TSM hasn't always really spent massively on free agents. They've never been like someone to pay, multiple millions of dollars, like many of the Chinese organizations do, and maybe Liquid has done, and apparently C9 now that they're on the verge of acquiring Perks. But yeah, we've never been the biggest spenders, and you take that however you will, but in this case, Power of Evil is worth every penny that he's going to be given, and he was very, very good at Worlds. I think on a team that was obviously counted out by many. They've went 3-3. He had some very standout performances, I would say, and then he's kind of very similar to Bjergsen in his, I'm not going to say his playstyle, but maybe his champ pool is actually very similar. He's also known for Syndra, just like Bjergsen. It was for the longest time known as his signature champion. And then towards the end, obviously, we all know that he was a little bit on the up and up for playing Zillion. And so we have a very similar champion pool. A solid player is almost never going to be the reason that you lose. And a lot of times in team fights, he's going to be the reason you win those. It's a lot. It's honestly, it's very similar to Bjergsen, but maybe a step down overall as a player, but the step that you're taking is huge only because Bjergsen is a legacy player. He's a legend in all sense of the word. And Power of Evil, not quite there, but he's on the next rung down on the ladder. And I hope he's he's hungry, and a lot of people should be excited. So then we have Power of Evil, who will very likely sign in a few days from now on the 16th when free agency opens. And then our AD carry is going to remain Doublelift in all likelihood. In fact, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's confirmed. A lot of people have said it's confirmed. He's confirmed it himself. You never know with these things because, like I said, nothing is confirmed until it's confirmed, as stupid as that sounds. But yeah. So the real mystery is the support. We actually haven't heard anything at all about the support role, other than tiny tidbits of information that it may be Ignar, and the idea was that he would be following Power of Evil from FlyQuest, and I gotta admit I wasn't really open to the idea. Because from what I know about Ignar, he's a really roam heavy player, and I don't know for sure that a player like that is great with Doublelift. I know he's had tremendous success with Korean supports in the past. Many of his championships are with Korean supports, most notably Core JJ and Ole. And Ignar is obviously Korean, so they're thinking that it would be a nice fit, but I think the play style for Ignar is very different from Core JJ and Ole. I think for Core JJ, for example, is like an all-around player. Like, he can do whatever's asked of him. He'll be dominant in lane. He can roam. He can make plays. He's an exceptional support. Obviously, he was one of the top supports in the world. Arguably, many people would say the best support in the world. But yeah. So that's been the mystery, is the support role, and a lot of other Korean supports have been rumored to be receiving offers from North American teams. The teams involved have not been made public, but you can assume that TSM has at least had contact with some of these Korean supports, or at least have considered some of these supports. So that remains the mystery. And so if we look at that roster, regardless of who the top laner is, I think the support will be the differentiator here. So because Doublelift, I think, works well with someone who is a lane support. In my opinion, I think he needs someone that wants to play aggressively in lane and wants to just straight up 2v2 the lane. So that's what will make or break the roster. And the other topic, and it stems from the roster, is the reception. This is what I meant a little more on Power of Evil later on in the video. I want to talk about the reception that the Power of Evil signing has received, because it's a lot of people think it's negative. I don't. What I do understand, though, is that it's a mixed reception. There are some people that love it, like me. There are some people that hate it. A lot of people on Reddit, a lot of people on Twitter have said that it's such a big step down that they needed to completely break the bank and bring somebody like Rookie or Chovy or Perks, someone like that, a legacy player, to fill a legacy player's shoes, so that fans would be excited, and they wouldn't feel as if we're taking a step down in terms of the overall competitive of the roster, I would imagine. So I actually really disagree with people that think that this is like a big step down. So Power of Evil is very quietly one of the top 3 mid laners in North America, and at some points he's actually played just as well as Jensen and sometimes even Bjerg, for example. And I think that internationally he's just about accomplished more than both of them, certainly than Bjerg. Let's be honest, Bjerg hasn't accomplished a whole lot internationally other than winning IEM in 2015. But Power of Evil he hasn't won tournaments like this, but he's played so well at a lot of these tournaments, including when he was on Misfits and Unicorns of Love, that you just have to wonder if they're trying to improve in that regard, and that would make a lot of sense. And Power of Evil has also played very well in North America, so he's played well in both of these both ends of the spectrum. He's played well in North America, in Europe, and on the international stage. And I think his champion pool fits Bjergsen's playstyle so well that because he'll be working directly with Bjergsen, it almost feels like they're trying to have somebody where the playstyle won't shift so dramatically that TSM will just be a completely different team, you know? Regardless of how we feel personally, the team's identity is, it won't be such a huge dramatic shift in how the team will play, I'm assuming. And that was kind of what they were looking for. and then the I guess the overall reception is that like I said, it's like a mixed reception where some people feel that it's a great signing. I'm on that that end of the spectrum there, and then there's some people that think that it's horrible because he's not Chovy or Perks, but that's kind of why I wanted to talk about that a little bit more. And then as for the final topic for today, it's who's gonna be the support. And we kind of already discussed this in the rumored roster bit of the video, but I think that it's almost entirely likely to be a Korean support, as I discussed earlier, and as has been rumored. There was an interesting rumor earlier reported by multiple sources, including ESPN, that TSM were like looking for to instill a Korean environment on the team. What that means is, I'm assuming it means that it's not just bringing Korean players onto the team, because I don't know if that would be a Korean environment. I think what they mean is that they want the environment to be focused on like winning and improvement. And I think Korean players are very, very known. Maybe Korean people in general are known for being diligent. And I think the cultural differences have been talked about before, but the Korean LCK players are exceptionally talented because they work very hard. They they eat, sleep, and play League of Legends. So their regimen is believable, and their work ethic is unmatched. And I think that you can see that from how Korea the last 2 years was, not really dominant as they once were, but they took back the crown this year. So you can see that they're not someone to just take a beating and then not get right back up, and show that they're back on top and that they've improved. So I think what TSM was trying to do, if those rumors are to be believed, is to instill an improvement and winning mental state of mind on the team, which I think is a really good idea. But most importantly, I do want to get everybody's opinion on the roster, and also obviously on Power of Evil, because I think from what I've seen, it is going to be a mixed reception that he's going to get. Completely opposite ends. Some people think it's great, some don't, and I want to really see what the overall thoughts are on the roster and on Power of Evil. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. Sorry for how long this is likely to turn out. Also, as a side note, if it sounds, the audio, if it sounds different today, because I cranked up the compression filter on OBS, and so you get the radio jockey sort of sound. If that is annoying or it sucks, then go ahead and let me know in the comments, and I'll change it back to the old audio. As for any other comments, please feel free to leave them down below, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Peace.